All right, team. So, welcome back to the Salesforce Lightning training. This is, of course, the second video. And at this point, guys, we're on the sign up form. Now, previously, we touched on the intro to Dream, which is one part of the launch call script. It's the first part. And also the discovery and pain. And we just touched on it in the previous video. You guys should not have any questions up to this point, which is great. All right. So, let's talk about the intake form itself. All right. Now, the purpose behind the intake form here, team, is that we're capturing information so we can actually access a soft pull of the client's credit summary. Very important step here, right, when it comes to the selling process. All right, so it's very, very vital that we actually capture accurate information, meaning the name, the phone number, the email address, and other personal information. They have to be accurate because we're going to be using this same information to dispute these negative items in the client's name. All right, so let's start off by validating the information that we see here that is already available. The client's first name. So I would always start off by saying, all right, sir, so I see your first name here. It's spelled as Bruce. It's Bruce. Is that correct? Client says yes. All right, and I see you also have your last name on file. It is Wallace, Wallace. Is that accurate as well? Client says yes. All right, and I see you have a middle initial here, sir. It's W. Is that correct? And the client corrects me, and the client says yes, the W is correct. It is stands for William. All right, so what I would do there is I would input the name William, right? Pretty simply. All right, and there it is, Bruce William Wallace. And now I scroll down. So these other fields, you really do not have to input any information here, guys, right? So you can ignore those fields for now, right? And of course, you would scroll down. So as soon as you scroll down, you would see it says primary individual billing address, right? So it gives you the address, the city, the state, and of course the zip code. Now, what you notice is when I hover over the fields, there is a little red circle, which is basically indicating that I cannot touch the field. I cannot input any type of information in this field. Now, the reason behind this is because I would have to enter the social security number first before these fields are unlocked. So, understanding this, guys, what I would do is I would work my way down. I wouldn't ask directly for the social, but I would keep on validating the additional information that I already have, and then I would ask for the social after. So I would work my way down to the mobile phone number, and I would say, Mr. Bruce, so I have your mobile phone number on file here. It's 973 612 6415. Is that correct, sir? Client says yes. All right. So I also have an email address here on file, sir. It is brucewallace23 at gmail.com. Is that accurate as well, sir? Client says yes. All right. So, Mr. Bruce, could you kindly provide me with your social security number? All right. So we can actually ensure that you are who you say you are. All right. And so the client would say, well, Anthony, my social security number is 123 456 78. And for training purposes, I'm going to use a fake social security number, guys. Now, very important to note here, guys, right? The social security number needs to be inputted twice. All right. So you would input it a second time, 123 456 78. All right. And after we've inputted it twice, usually it would give you a green light, which means you can go ahead. And what you notice as well is that the fields that were once locked previously, like the date of birth, now you can enter information. So I would work my way up once again. So I would start off by getting the client's date of birth. So the client, let's say the client gives me a date of birth. Let's say that they say the date of birth is, let's say, the 6th of the 7th of 1990, right? That is the date of birth for the client, right? So I would input that information here, and I would work my way up to the address. So now I'm about to put in the address. So, for example, let's say the client says that the street is number 6, Green Boulevard, and I'm just making up an address here, guys. All right, and it's apartment 1B. All right, so this is the actual address for the client. And now let's get the client's zip code. All right, so all right, there we go. So as soon as you put in that zip code, what you notice here, guys, is that the city and the state auto populates, and so you can always verify with the client. So Mr. Bruce, so it shows here that you live in Pedricktown, New Jersey. Is that accurate? Client says yes. Now, you've successfully entered all the necessary information. Keep in mind, this is a fake social, so it will not allow us to actually pull a summary. But as soon as you finalize this step, guys, we would click on validate. Right, so when you click on validate, what it does is it tells you if all the information matches up. Once everything matches up, now we can click on the blue button that says TransUnion request for primary. All right, so as soon as you click on this actual button, what it will do is it will load and it will provide you with a 5-digit PIN code that you can actually forward to the client, and they would send it back and you can type it in, or it would prompt you to some security questions that you would have to ask the client prior to accessing their credit summary. All right, so when you access the summary, now it takes you to another part of the launch call script. And of course, now you're going to move to your package selection and of course your service. All right, so we're going to talk about that in the other video. So for now, let's focus on just everything here when it comes to capturing information.